The fireworks for the NFL offseason are not limited to Aaron Rodgers, luckily for me. Unluckily for Aaron Freeman from Locked On Falcons. He is going to have to talk about this now because it is a big dang deal. Calvin Ridley is going to miss the entire 2022 season right now after allegedly gambling on football games. I say allegedly. He admitted on Twitter as he tweeted through it that he did, in fact, gamble on games, $1,500 worth. Aaron, this is a very surprising story. What was your first reaction when you saw it?
It was unbelievable at first to sort of see the news that a player in today's NFL got suspended for gambling on football. And I know Josh Shaw got suspended a couple of years ago with that, but this has really been, a non-issue, at least in the NFL circles, for like decades, since like the 60s, 70s, and 80s, or whatever the case may be. And particularly with a high-profile player like Calvin Ridley, this is certainly probably one of the bigger stars in sports history that has been suspended for gambling on his own sport. I guess if you want to put a positive spin on it, he bet on the Falcons to win, and they won. So I guess he wasn't betting against the Falcons, so that's a positive. That's about the only positive you can take for it. So it was very surprising to see this news. In terms of Calvin Ridley's future in Atlanta, was already on sort of thin ice due to various reports coming out since the end of the season that in part due to Calvin Ridley taking a break from football in the middle of the season. This gambling incident, according to NFL investigation, came while he was away from the team. So it's not necessarily involving the Falcons or any sort of inside information. But, given that he was taking a break from football due to mental health issues, it seemed like the Falcons, as some people termed it, and Calvin Ridley were headed to a mutual parting of ways and looking like a fresh start for him and the team moving forward. And so that was going to be a big issue to see what the Falcons could get via trade from him this offseason. But now that's completely out the window as far as a trade asset in that regard with his suspension. So, Calvin Ridley's played his last down in Atlanta, and we'll just sort of see what his NFL future is going to be like if and when he gets reinstated in the future. But it's certainly not going to be as an Atlanta Falcon.
Yeah, there are some speculating that his NFL career might just flat out be over at this point. There was a lot of discussion on social media, and I'm sure there will be a lot more today on the Talking Head shows about the NFL's cozying up to the big gambling companies and potential hypocrisy that they see in this sort of situation. Where do you stand on how this all went down?
I said it on Locked On Falcons. I can't make a negative moral judgment on Calvin Ridley for betting on football because I bet on football on a weekly basis. So it doesn't make him a bad person that he bet on football or anything like that. But for obvious reasons, you can't do it. You can't, as a league, allow players to bet on, football games, particularly their own football teams. Whether or not Calvin Ridley was with the team at the time, it affects the integrity of the game. It opens up a very slippery slope, a whole can of worms, whatever you want to call it. So for obvious reasons, there's a rule against this, and the league has to come down hard whenever stuff like this happens, as they did with Calvin Ridley. So in terms of, seeing sort of hypocrisy or anything like that, as far as the NFL is concerned, I don't really necessarily see it that way. It's just, it's unfortunate for football players that they can't make money, I guess, if you want it for like the rest of the world, that they can't make money off of betting on football games. But then again, they make a lot of money playing football. So it feels like it's a very small sort of sacrifice that they have to make. It's just like, you can bet on basketball, you can bet on baseball, you can bet on hockey. You can't bet on football. And so it seems like I don't feel like this is some sort of unfair miscarriage of justice or anything like that. I think all those sort of talking points are a little bit crazy at this point.